already. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, they got a restarts up to go. Green flag is out and underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
After 10 weeks of competition, it's playoff time in the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series. I'm Sky Shrek. I'm joined tonight by Dave Regal in the booth with Eddie Smith producing as always. And we're getting ready for 100 laps around IRP Indianapolis Raceway Park. We've got 32 drivers competing to crown 2 champions in our dual playoff format. And it all starts at this cramped short track in Indiana. Dave, what makes this place so tough for the drivers?
Well, Sky, I mean, for starters, we're just under 3/4 of a mile in an oval. I mean, also, this track is basically never flat anywhere. I mean, you've got 2 degrees of banking on the front stretch, 12 degrees in the turns. And I mean, these drivers are going to be fighting that all night long. One of the things that makes this difficult, especially with the number of drivers that we have tonight, is of course the fact that there's 32 of them crammed onto 3/4 of a mile. That's going to be really tight for real estate.
Yeah, and one thing you're going to see tonight, most short tracks, drivers tend to like that inside lane to go right around the bottom of the racetrack. This time you're going to see drivers moving a little bit further up. You can really make the high line work at IRP, and I think we'll see quite a few drivers do that over the course of tonight. We've got 32 drivers in this race tonight. If you've been watching over the rest of the season, you know that we were splitting them up into 2 races, ARCA West and ARCA East. We've put them all together here now for the playoffs. So we have a pro driver playoff with 16 cars and an AM driver playoff with 16 cars. And they'll all be racing in one bracket to decide a champion. As you can see right there, this is our pro bracket here. We've got Mark Whitley, Ryzen Baker, Christian Angel, Timothy Wilms, Sean Kaiser, Jake Ham, Brandon Wallace, and then Jake Ellingson there. They came from ARCA East. And then on the other side, you've got Tyler Justice, Barrett Morton, George Jewell, Jeremiah Holt, Logan Thorelkeld, TJ Peters, Joseph McWhorter, and Huling Kauser. They all came from ARCA West, and they're all going to race together here to decide a pro champion.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's interesting about the format that we've used all season long, last week, we were kind of calling it the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. And what we were able to do, by bringing all of these people under one roof is basically, or at least, split them up and now bringing them under one roof, is we've taken those non-playoff drivers and put them off on another race tonight, which of course they're kind of being treated as a consolation race. Then over here in at least the playoff division, all of these drivers have playoff implications. So it's not like you're going to have a situation where there's a driver that says, hey, I'm a playoff driver, let me through. No, You're all playoff drivers. You all earned your position here. So let them have it and go out there.
We can take a look here at our AM standings, too, for these playoffs. The drivers that came from ARCA East here, you have Kyle Deering, Alan Smith, Jamie Libke, Mark Cofield, Sedarius Days, Samuel Yosef, and then you've got Unger there, and that will be, I believe that is Claire Sisk getting that final spot in the playoffs. And then this is Joshua Unger, the other driver in ARCA East. And then coming out of ARCA West, you've got Charles Aber, you've got Daniel Parks, you've got both Prices, Kevin Price and Brock Price, Chuck Feltz, you've got Calvert there, and then Jacob Lanke, Noah Hogard are your final drivers in ARCA West. And these are your 16 that will be racing for the AM Championship here tonight. We've got 2 races in the first round, and we will eliminate half the drivers, go down to a round of 8 for both series. You can see that right here, Lucas Oil and Old Atlanta will be our round of 8. We will then eliminate our round of 16. We've updated it a little bit since we made this graphic. Kansas and Milwaukee will be our round of 8 for both series, and then we will advance to the championship 4, and those 8 drivers who prevail from each of the 2 brackets will compete in a final at Kentucky for the championship of the season 4 of Glove Station ARCA series. So we're getting ready to go here in just a second. Are there any drivers that you're watching, Dave, to maybe make a run here in these playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, this is a situation tonight where these drivers coming under, the same situation, where they're going to be able to go out there and just battle it out from start to finish. I think that this was a really great move, by the admins, by Goat Locker Racing, and of course, Daniel Craigkeel, one of our great race directors, who's been here with the Glove Station ARCA series all season long. So can't thank them enough as we get ready to rock and roll here tonight at IRP.
We're about ready to go here in just a second. This practice session, this qualifying session will wrap up, and we will have the starting grid for you for tonight's race. 30 cars making the field tonight out of the 32 in the playoffs as we get ready to go. Once again, 100 laps around this very, very tight short track. On pole tonight, it's going to be the 74 of Mark Whitley. He was a dominating force in ARCA East, and he'll win the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award and try to be a dominating force in these playoffs as well. Jake Ham in the 85 will go from P2. In third tonight, it's Jeremiah Holt in the 73 with Jacob Ellingston in the 27 in fourth. Christian Angel goes from 5th in the 79. Huling Kauser 6th in the 91. Row 4, Samuel Yosef and Joseph McWhorter. And starting in row 5 tonight, it's Kevin Price in the 80 and Tyler Justice in the 33.
Rounding out the rest of the top 20, Sean Kaiser here starts in 11th with Brandon Wallace on the outside of row number 6. Row 7 going to feature George Jewell and Dave Calvert Sr. in the 90 machine. Starting in 15th is Jamie Libke. She gets started on the inside of row number 8 with Ryzen Baker to the outside in 16th position. 17th goes Alan Smith in the 00 with Kyle Deering in that 50-cent piece on the outside of row number 9, while row 10 and rounding out that starting top 20 is Logan Threlkeld and Sedarius Days.
And starting back from there, it's the 43 of Brock Price on the inside of Claire Sisk in the 12. Charles Abert goes from 23rd in the 7. Tim Wilms, 24th in the 86. Row 13 tonight is Chuck Feltz in the 75, next to Daniel Parks in the 71. Joshua Unger rolls off 27th in the 51 with Noah Hogard on his outside in the 158. And the last 2 cars on your field tonight will be the 9 of Barrett Morton and the 97 of Mark Cofield, 2 drivers who had pretty good performances throughout the regular season and had some trouble in qualifying tonight and are going to have to work their way all the way through the field if they want to try and find their way to victory lane or be, at the end of these first 2 races, one of the 8 drivers who advance to round 2.
And to me, it's kind of cool that they did put Old Atlanta into the schedule again for these playoffs last season. That is, we finished off the season at Old Atlanta, and now, of course, we're going to just be mixing that into this bigger round of the opening round of the playoffs. 100 laps the scheduled distance, as mentioned. Drivers are going to have 4 sets of tires. So starting 1, they lay 3. 2 green-white checkered attempts. Hopefully we don't need either of them, and 65% fuel load to get things loaded up here.
We are getting ready to roll here before too long at IRP. We're going to do one more time under the pace car. One last chance for these drivers to swerve it back and forth and warm up their tires and try to get ready for what is surely going to be a chaotic race around Indianapolis Raceway Park. One driver that I'm watching here is that 27 car of Jake Ellingson rolling off in fourth. Had a really good regular season in ARCA East, but struggled at times to find victory lane. He's got a good starting position here tonight in the combined playoffs, and he will look to make his way through. Also looking at Samuel Yosef back there in seventh. That's an AM driver racing for the AM championship. You wouldn't know it by where he qualified. What can he do tonight? Pace car is in turn 3 on the front row. It's Mark Whitley and it's Jake Ham. They're running a little bit high as they make their way through turn 4. And as we hit the restart zone, we're green for the playoffs at IRP. Whitley sent it off huge into 1 and got clear. We're already door banging back here for P4. That's Christian Angel up into the nose of Huling Kauser in the 91. Close shave for those 2 cars. Jake Ellingson runs on the outside of that battle, and you've got Joseph McWhorter right behind him in the 72. All of these drivers, like we said earlier, running that high side. It's the fastest way around IRP. A little bit different from many short tracks where you see drivers hug the bottom, and that presents a really unique challenge for pretty much everybody out here. Huling Kauser is trying to ring that bottom right now, and it's not working because Ellingson and McWhorter have the speed on top.
Keeping an eye on things back here with the 99 is Brandon Wallace. Brandon Wallace duking things out with the 80 of Kevin Price out of Findlay, Ohio. They were just this side of being fender to fender coming into turns 1 and 2, and now as they haul things down into 3 and 4, just behind them, Sean Kaiser is battling it out with Kevin Price, and now the 80 slides back. The double natural of Ryzen Baker and George Jewell. They're side by side.
Kyle Deering around.
Ways it is. And Kyle Deering goes through the grass, and he's going to do a little bit of landscaping down there. The caution flag flies.
It was a good job to not make too much contact with anybody. He got a little bit there, but ultimately spun that thing down into the grass and avoided any significant damage on that 50 car. For the first caution of the race on lap 4, he's just going to get loose on the high side here.
Going on board now with Kyle Deering as we haul things down. We can just see the rear end of that car stepped out on him. He tried to recover it and just could not get it back pointed in the right direction. And thank goodness, though, he didn't really take anybody else with him.
Yeah, just carried a little too much speed into that corner and dove the front end in, and the back end did not want to follow, and that is what causes a spin like that for the 50 of Kyle Deering. So we work lap 5 here. First caution of the night pretty early on. Saw a couple changes up front, but Mark Whitley dominated off the jump. Got a half-second lead over Jake Ham. Before that caution flag flew, Jeremiah Holt is still sitting in 3rd. Christian Angel did make the pass for 4th. A couple cars have moved up a few spots early here, including Ryzen Baker, who's gone 16 to 11 in that 77 car. You see some of our in-car cameras right now. Ryzen Baker there in the top left, the driver who's moved up all those spots.
Yeah, I've said week after week, I'm not messing with Chuck Pegleg Feltz. That dude's got some guns. I mean, if he's got a direct drive wheel, I'm pretty sure he can turn that thing all the way up to 100% force feedback and be able to still move it with just one hand.
He's got force feedback at about 200% on that wheel, I bet. He is going to wheel it all night tonight. Chuck Feltz, a driver who tends to do pretty well in the amateur class, had a decent run in ARCA West, and will be looking to advance through these playoffs. He currently runs 11th in that AM class. By far and away, the AM leader right now, though, is Samuel Yosef, who started up in the 7th position, runs 8th overall. He's kind of checked out right now. Dave Calvert is 2nd in AM, and he runs all the way back in 14th, so he's got a 6 pro driver buffer in between him and the next AM driver. We really saw Samuel Yosef turn it on towards the end of the season in ARCA East, and he is continuing his run into these playoffs.
Yeah, and one of the things that I guess, maybe between the two of us as we were covering the previous 10 weeks, I didn't get to see Samuel Joseph as well as you did this season because you were covering that division there or that conference in the East. But, all things considered, what I've looked at least for his numbers over the season, he has been very consistent. And I'm excited to see what he's able to do, especially running overall right now in 7th. And, I said last week and the week before, 7th position seems to be the magic number for these pro division or for the AM division drivers to take home the win.
We'll see if it can happen here tonight. A little bit of blinking there for that 73 car of Jeremiah Holt, running into some internet issues. Hopefully that'll go away by the time we go green, because the pace car is in and we're about to go green. Mark Whitley takes the high side. He'll be the first car into the restart zone, jumps immediately, and we're back green at IRP. He's got a huge run on the top. He's going to take Christian Angel with him to P2.
Mark Whitley with a great jump, and now Christian Angel and Jake Ham just ahead of Joseph McWhorter. Here's the thing. McWhorter is one of those drivers where he is going to find his way to knife up between these two. He might even take it 3 wide. He's aggressive, he's good, and he's smart down there on the racetrack. As right now, it looks like McWhorter right up on the rear bumper of Christian Angel as he's now starting to get that run. Angel and Ham nearly bumping into each other as we look from the rear bumper of Mark Whitley back at those two drivers. They're door handle to door handle coming out of 4 and back onto the front stretch.
Oh, Ham gets loose down there after contact with Angel, has to drop that thing down to the inside and get off the throttle. He'll lose 1, 2, maybe 3 positions to Jake Ellingson right here in the 27. You can just see how tight this track is. It's a little bit like Darlington, but a short track. You can only really use the top 2 lanes around here in the corners if you want to make speed, and that makes it really hard to get any moves done because this track is so tight, and you're always on the edge of not only spinning it out, but taking a couple other cars with you because there is no room to move here. Battle going for P2 right now. Joseph McWhorter has a dive up the inside of Christian Angel. You can see it from the onboard right there on Jake Ham. Side by side, dooring each other out of the corner. Both drivers a little loose. Angel has the advantage at the line, but McWhorter is going to take a big bite out of that corner and try to slide it back up the road. We're side by side for second. We were almost 3 wide behind him for a second. This is some great racing here at IRP. McWhorter with another slide job down into 3 and 4, but this time it might not work. They're still door-to-door out of the corner.
Yeah, they're so close that they're just wiggling each other's fingers in the window nets as now they go side by side into turns 1 and 2. And as they haul the mail down the backstretch, the 79 gets pushed up against the wall. It almost looks like McWhorter's trying to make the 79 make a mistake. McWhorter gets a really good exit. Watch this coming out of 4 and down the front stretch. Almost a little side draft action coming down into 1 and 2, and a great entry as they now bump and grind out of 2 and down the backstretch. All of a sudden, Joseph McWhorter able to get around Christian Angel as they're going to duke this thing out for another set of laps right here at IRP.
Well, Angel is going to have the switchback now. He's going to be the one looking to the inside, and he's going to take a little bit of contact there for McWhorter. He's going to dive it in, slide it up to the top. Same thing we saw Joseph McWhorter doing, and he's going to give him a little bit of a door right there off the corner. These two cars are getting loose as they continue to battle. Mark Whitley has pulled 2 seconds out on this group of cars here from 2nd to 7th, who are racing really hard. You see Whitley across the start-finish line. McWhorter gets into the wall off at 4, but he gets clear and gets P2. Now Angel's still on that bottom line. He's going to prevail over Jake Ellingson for now, and we'll go single file for 2nd and 3rd. What can Jake Ham do for P4?
The Bondurant, Iowa native right now.
Caution.
5th position as the caution flies. 2nd time tonight. That's the 71. Oh my. That's not going to make anybody happy as he's going to get himself pointed the right way. Daniel Parks now limping down the backstretch. Let's see what happened here.
Yeah, we'll get a replay on what happened to the 71 of Daniel Parks there. He's got a couple cars underneath him. We'll see if there's maybe some contact. Nope, just spun it out on the throttle a little. Oh, well, maybe not.
Oh, wow.
You see that car reappear there behind him. Internet connection for a car behind him. That was the 43 of Brock Price, who disconnected from the session and reconnected. Seems like basically inside of the 71 and turned that car around. That was a weird one.
You know, and looking at that the 2nd and 3rd time here, the way that the 71 of Daniel Parks jumped up in the air, it does make it look like, this is going to be a great replay. Because there's going to be the 43 disappearing. And when it reappeared, it's almost like, the net code from it reappearing is what sent Daniel Parks spinning.
Man, that is not something that you see every day in these cars there, but Daniel Parks is going to play victim to it, and he is going to be the one who ends up around and with some pretty significant damage on that car. I wonder, because he had Kevin Price in front of him and he had Brock Price behind him, and I'm assuming they were both on the same internet connection because they were blinking out basically simultaneously. And I wonder if just being caught in that sandwich of cars with bad internet racing on the same bad connection was what got him around.
Yeah, that's definitely going to change things for, some of these drivers up here. Some of our big movers right now. Check this out. Barrett Morton and Mark Cofield each up 13 positions, combined 26. Just McWhorter's up 6. Now, we were talking about Mark Whitley and that Mark had basically a 2-second lead over the rest of the field earlier. He was more than happy to look in the rearview mirror and see McWhorter and Angel duking it out the way that they were, because that still enabled him to go out there, log his laps, hit his marks, and get done what he had to get done. I mean, that's a race leader's dream to watch somebody battling it out for second position behind him.
We've got a couple pit stops here. It looks like Jake Ellingson has come down pit road, maybe playing a bit of strategy here. Same with that 99 car of Brandon Wallace. Both drivers made that turn into the pits. We'll see if we see any more drivers coming down, if we get a quick caution here, or if it'll just be those two on a bit of an off strategy call. Gonna try something, and we will see if it works. You got the 74 Whitley up front. It's the 72 of McWhorter, who pulled himself up into P2 and is going to look to fight his way around the 74 on this high side. Whitley's going to get the jump as we enter the restart zone, and we're green once again at IRP. Whitley is gone, and now McWhorter is going to have to deal with Christian Angel.
I mean, Christian Angel's not going to be put to bed early tonight. Wow, as they exchange a little bit of paint down the backstretch and into turn 3. And here, the 73 and the 91 doing the same thing. That's Jeremiah Holt and Huling Kauser. As now Huling Kauser's been shuffled back here into 6th position. That's where he was qualified earlier. But all of a sudden, everybody here has turned up the
caution flag is out.
Caution flag.
We got a wreck at the back. We got about 4 AM drivers all piled up in the outside wall here. This is going to start. Well, we'll see where this starts at. We'll get a replay for you. Looks like Joshua Unger into the back of Chuck Feltz, and this track is so narrow that no one really had anywhere to go. You got quite a few cars involved in that here. You watch him coming off turn 4. This is Unger behind Feltz. A little too much into the corner, sends both cars around, and then you've got Wilms back here. You've got Brandon Wallace, Claire Sisk. Pretty big hit on the bottom there for Kyle Deering and Jamie Libke.
Yeah, 7 cars involved in that one, so that's going to change the complexion of some of this. Now, you have to remember that, we've already got 4 sets of tires on the night. Now, I'm not saying that they have to start following, or at least thinking about, changing tires, but, break this race down into 4 segments as we go on board now, right here on V-Speed. And, all things considered, you don't have to make it difficult, pit strategy wise, as we look at this in slow-mo. Yeah, you just start to collect these things. It just turns into a disaster way too fast.
We've got some pit stops underway. None of the drivers up at the front of the field, but quite a few drivers who were running in the mid-pack, plus the drivers involved in that accident came down. Tyler Justice in the pits, Sean Kaiser, George Jewell. Looks like Kevin Price, Alan Smith, and then you've got some of the cars who were caught up in that accident, like Claire Sisk, Brandon Wallace, Kyle Deering, all coming down as well.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but Mark Whitley was the one who captured the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award out of Plainfield, Indiana. We are local and we are veteran certified, and when we do, well, we can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, JAM has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. JAM is GLR's go-to promotional company, and they, of course, sponsor our pole award across all series this season.
We thank them for their support of Goat Locker Racing. We've got so many great partners here at Goat Locker Racing that really help make everything in the Goat Locker Racing goes possible. I believe they just gave out their 13th sim rig to a veteran, so that's quite a big number.
Yeah, sim rig number 13 went out, and of course our Warrior Spotlight for this month is Mike Swardson, who's been a firefighter since 2005. Mike is the 13th sim recipient and our very first responder. Mike is from Indiana and served in the U.S. Air Force for 4 years in the fire service. During his time, he deployed to Korea and Pakistan in support of our great nation. Once returning home, he decided to continue his career in the fire service and has been a firefighter with the Indianapolis Airport Fire Department for the past 20 years. Mike was introduced to racing by his father, who used to take Mike and his brother to Road America for IndyCar races when they were young, and now he likes to take his family to Road America as well and enjoys IMSA and F1, and we're proud to welcome him to the Goat Locker Racing family.
As we're back racing here under green on lap 28, Joseph McWhorter has the pass done on Christian Angel in the 79, and now Jake Ham is trying to work up the inside of that 78 car as well for P3. They're side-by-side off the corner. You've got Huling-Kauser, Jeremiah Holt side-by-side behind these two. Holt gets a little bit up the road there, has to back out, and that'll give the advantage to that 91 car at Kauser. Ryzen Baker started out back in 16th, has that thing driving in 7th. He's bounced down to the inside. Around goes Christian Angel off the nose of Jake Ham. No caution yet as that 85 is off the racetrack, but there is going to be some damage for those cars, and Angel is going to free fall through the field, and now the caution will fly. We got a pile up in turn 1. Big accident.
Yeah, the
We'll
double
get the
zero,
replay of this
the 99,
first.
the 79, and the 9.
We'll get the replay of this first. That's Jake Ham going around after contact with Christian Angel. And then this just kind of spirals down into turn 1. Samuel Joseph in the 65 loses it. And everybody kind of goes around behind him here. And you've got several cars heavily involved. Angel was trying to get up the track to avoid a spinning Joseph. Clipped Ellingson. And you got Abert, you got Alan Smith in that. Claire Sist turned around. Tyler Justice. I feel like at a certain point it'd be easier to name the cars who weren't caught up in that accident, because that was a good, I'd say 11 or 12 right there taking some damage.
Yeah, that was just this side of a Talladega big one. Or at least one of the smaller ones at Talladega. It just seems like as soon as one car started, it was a domino effect. They collected everybody right here on lap number 31. Sedarius Days leading things on the AM side. Mark Cofield in the 97. Dave Calvert in 3rd. Noah Hoagie Hogard running in 4th. And, of course, the 43, we saw him earlier. Brock Price, he's rounding out the AM top 5. And Mark Whitley, Joseph McWhorter, Ryzen Baker, Jeremiah Holt, and Huling-Kauser, they're your top 5 on the pro side. I can't stress this enough. As much as I loved having the Eastern and Western conferences all season long during the regular season, as we start pit stops right now here on lap number 32, I got to say it's nice to have all these guys and gals under one roof again.
And we've had some pretty good racing here so far when we've been green. A lot of cars in the pits. Looks like a lot of drivers who were caught up in that accident. Christian Angel got in it pretty good after having to drop through the field with that contact with Jake Ham. Samuel Joseph also caught up in it pretty heavily. He's into the pits this time. Charles Avert, Brandon Wallace, Kyle Deering, again, all the cars who were in that incident. And your top 11, I believe, have stayed out the whole time. That is Mark Whitley through Brock Price. Those drivers are still out on the racetrack, and that is going to include your top 5 in AM, your top 6 in pro. Jake Ellingson, first car who's made a pit stop so far this race in the 27.
Well, and you know what? To see, especially at this stage in the season, where everybody's a playoff driver in these races, we're going to see a lot more AM drivers mixed up higher in the overall standings than we have the rest of the season. Because I mean, let's face it, there's a reason that these AM drivers made it into the playoffs.
Yeah, they're very talented. Just because it is the AM class doesn't mean that these guys can't mix it up here in the top 10. Obviously, we saw Samuel Joseph got involved in that accident after spinning it out, but he was running up top 6, 7 cars pretty much all race here. And you can see a top AM driver right now is Tadarius Days, currently running in P6. So they've got a couple drivers up there, and the battle for the AM lead is often just as, if not more competitive than the battle for the pro lead. We've seen some great fights in AM all season long.
Getting ready to go back green flag racing here on lap number 34. It'll be 36 when we go back green. As the iRacing, nope, it's going to be 37. They keep the lights on for this time around. When we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Whitley, McWhorter, Baker, Holt, Cowser, Days, Throutfeld, Cofield, Calvert, and Noah Hoagie Hogard rounding out your restarting top 10.
Lights on the pace car should go off this time around as we get back ready to roll from IRP. Mark Whitley has really just dominated this race early. There have been some close battles for second all race long. That white, pink, and purple 74 car, Mark Whitley has just checked out. And he has really just pulled it away pretty much all race long here. As we got this caution extended a little bit, and this will end right here. So the lights on the pace car will go out. That wave around car of George Jewell will get back on the lead lap, and we will get ready to go from IRP for the final 64 laps of this race.
I got to say, we were kind of worried about the number of cautions that we were going to see tonight, but even at 4 over 36 laps, they still managed to get themselves cleaned up and moving in the right direction. The drivers here in Goat Locker have always been really good at keeping themselves organized as the iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road one more time.
As we get ready to roll for lap 37, it's McWhorter and it's Whitley on the front row. These drivers will head down to the restart zone. It's another good jump for Whitley on the inside, but McWhorter not going to go away on the top. He'll give him a challenge into one as we go back green. And we got a car around in the mid-pack. Yep, that's Jeremiah Holt right there getting way loose. Good job to keep that thing out of anybody. A good job by the rest of the field to not get involved in any accidents. Whitley is loose. He's on the apron. He's sliding. Great save by Mark Whitley, but he's going to lose the lead to McWhorter. Joseph McWhorter, the second driver to lead a lap tonight, the first to knock off the 74 of Mark Whitley. Ryzen Baker's there as well. We'll get an instant replay here. Whitley just dives it a little too deep into the corner, tries to get a little too much on the bottom, and it slides out on him. Has to drift it around the inside. It's a great job to keep that thing straight, but he does lose the lead, and he'll have to work from P2 now and find a way around McWhorter as we're wrecking big time in the mid-pack. Oh, huge hit back there.
Well, we could have seen this one as Sean Kaiser was mixed up in this one. Good Lord. Dave Calvert Sr., he's pointed the wrong way. He can't park there. Got to get back moving. Bellingham, Massachusetts, Sean Kaiser here in the 46 getting himself pointed the right direction. Let's take a look at the V-Speed replay.
Dave Calvert just comes up a little bit off the corner, makes contact with Kaiser. You've got Holt and Ellingson spinning down to the inside, and then that was, I believe that was Timothy Wilms there with a, not an ideal moment to that 86 car. That thing is going to be totaled.
Yeah, thank goodness for the magic of fast repairs on iRacing.com as we go on board here with the replay this time. Taking a look at it from here.
I wonder if he just... I was going to say, I wonder if he just couldn't see him there because of how late those cars in front of him pulled down the racetrack. That 86 car, I don't know if he's going to get it back out tonight. That thing is totaled. Terrible start to the playoffs for Timothy Wilms. You'll see it one more time from the onboard. Angel barely makes it out of this, and I'm just not sure if he knew he was there. He probably should have been on the brakes a little bit earlier, but that is a brutal hit for both cars.
I mean, we can armchair quarterback that all day, but the hardest thing I think on iRacing is listening to the automated spotter. in those situations, the spotter can say one thing, and maybe just depending on where the other car is that's on the racetrack, you don't realize, hey, look, they're high, they're low, and it only takes a quarter of a millisecond of an inch, to make it say something different.
And we've got pit stops here for much of your leaders. We have 7 cars who have stayed out. Mark Whitley is the first car out of the pits. He took 2 tires. He's in 8th. Joseph McWhorter, Ryzen Baker came down for 4. They sit 9th and 10th. The 7 drivers who are staying out right now all came down within the last 20 laps. Those drivers are Alan Smith, Tyler Justice, Daniel Parks, Samuel Yosef, Charles Abert, Chuck Feltz, and Kevin Price. So 6 AM drivers and Tyler Justice are going to stay out here to get some track position after they pit not too long ago. And we'll see if they're able to make it work or if Whitley and McWhorter are able to dice their way back through. I'll tell you what, the fact that they have 7 cars up there between the Mark Whitley and the lead of this race is going to be a big help to Alan Smith up front.
Yeah, Alan Smith, another strong performance tonight in the KFC finger-licking good 00. He's got Tyler Justice just behind and Daniel Parks in 3rd right now. And, I'm always excited to see what some of these drivers are able to do, especially when they're in the AM ranks. And if there's anybody that I'm going to trust from the AM ranks, leading this piece right now, it's Alan Smith. He makes some really smart decisions out on the racetrack, and that's what's going to help a lot of these guys boogie through here.
As we continue to do some laps under caution here with Alan Smith up at the front of the field. Gonna see what's up here. Might have a little bit of an extended caution here from IRP right now, and never mind, we're gonna shorten it again. All right, so we brought it up to 10 laps to caution. We brought it down to 3 laps to green, so we are gonna get back going here, I believe, in 2 or so more times around. As Alan Smith, Tyler Justice, Daniel Parks, Samuel Yosef, Chuck Abert, your top 5. Had a little bit of issues with kind of extending cautions here tonight due to just how short this track is, but I think we've got everything sorted out, and we will get ready to go back green here very shortly. I think the lights will go off this time.
Want to welcome everybody in and thank you for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. You're watching the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA series. We want to thank our friends at Glove Station. Here at Glove Station, we are committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs, from tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between. We've got you covered. With the endless amounts of safety products on the market, we want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. You can head on over to glovestation.com. And as Sky had just mentioned, folks, the iRacing.com pace car lights are out, and now Sky, the pace car, is down.
And we're going to get ready to get back rolling on lap 46 here from IRP. It's a brand new front row. It's going to be Alan Smith. It's going to be Tyler Justice as we get ready to go. Smith is the control car on the high side, and he goes as late as he possibly can in that restart zone. And that is going to give Tyler Justice a big advantage down there. Alan Smith up, scraping it off the wall. Caution flies. We have Sean Kaiser around, along with, it looks like, Jake Ham, Tim Wilms, and Jeremiah Holt. So some of the cars who had just come down pit road.
Yeah, and for those drivers that just came down pit road, got them, some of them may have even used their fast repairs. As we go to the V-Speed replay, they just get bunched up here on the restart. And wow! Sir, that's an entire nose clip. You can't leave that out there.
That was a huge hit for Jake Ellingson there. What happened?
I don't know, but that was a lot of force.
He had a technical issue. His wheel goes full left. You'll see it right here. His wheel came unplugged on this restart, and that's what's going to cause that caution.
Yeah, talk about a hardware failure. Good God.
And that is going to be Jake Ellingson almost definitely out of the race here because that car is totaled and his wheel is not connected to his computer. Claire Sist got some air in that 12 car. Woo! She's been in basically every accident tonight, and I don't think any of them have really been her fault.
That's one of the most frustrating things on any racetrack, no matter what level you're racing at, when you're just out there trying to run your own race. Because, what do we all say from a coaching standpoint of a driver? run your race, mind your business, stay away from the dumb stuff. But, you know, here's Claire Sisk minding her own business, and bad things happen. You know, and when you're in that position where all night long you're wrapped up in other people's poor decisions, that's frustrating as a driver on every level.
That was a bunny hop there for the 12 car. I think that thing got all 4 wheels off the ground at one point. That was
getting
an intense
on the curb
one there.
Yeah, it's like getting on the curb at Martinsville.
So we are going to go back under caution, and this is pretty good for those drivers who stayed out and were not involved in that. Alan Smith, the foremost of those cars, up front in the 00, and he will lead us across the halfway point in this race. Tyler Justice, that pro driver, still sits second. He'll look to challenge Alan Smith, but he didn't get much of a chance to do so before the caution came out. Lights on the pace car will go off. We'll get ready to go once again this time. And it's a very similar look to your top 10 here. It's Alan Smith, Tyler Justice, Daniel Parks, Samuel Joseph, Chuck Phelps, Charles Abert, Mark Whitley, Ryzen Baker, Kevin Price, and Joseph McWhorter. Here are top 10 cars. Whitley is the first driver on 2. Ryzen Baker and Joseph McWhorter, the first cars on 4 tires, respectively. Alan Smith and Tyler Justice will get ready to take us back to the green flag here. Alan Smith, still the control car, has chosen that top line. We'll see where he goes in the restart zone. Once again, goes as late as he possibly can, and we are back green at IRP, and Tyler Justice is going to have the line up the inside of that 00. Will Smith have the run he needs out of the corner? Looks like he might. I think Justice is going to prevail there down into turn 3 as we're side by side behind him as well. Daniel Parks, Samuel Joseph, Mark Whitley is running all the way down. He's trying to create a new line as they're 3 wide off that corner. That doesn't usually work at IRP. Tyler Justice steals the lead away from Alan Smith, but we're door to door. We're 3 wide for P2. Alan Smith keeps it out of everybody there. That could have been bad.
You know what? That's exactly what I was talking about as we were getting ready to go back green. If there was anybody that I trusted to make smart decisions, Alan Smith got himself out of Dodge. He gives up a lot of track position. He gets himself running back in 7th position now. But nothing bad happened. No caution flag flies. We've got a new race leader. It's Tyler Justice out of Byron, Georgia. Samuel Joseph trailing in P2. And look who it is once again. Joseph McWhorter and Daniel Parks. They're side by side. And they've got the hammer and tongs out pretty early as we're now past the halfway point right here at IRP.
McWhorter's got a lot of speed in that car, and he was not only your race leader before he came down to take tires, but he is the first car on 4 fresh tires. Mark Whitley's gotten up to 4th behind him, but Whitley is still about 0.2 of a second back of Joseph McWhorter, who is now going to go side by side with Samuel Joseph and make that look like a cakewalk around the inside. As he takes P2, Whitley is going to go through for P3 as well there. Samuel Joseph, no slouch, but he is on older tires, which is going to hurt his ability to contend with these pro drivers. And now Joseph McWhorter is going to try to take the lead of the race away from Tyler Justice. Both of these cars arcing it down to the bottom, getting a little creative here to try to maximize their run out of the corner.
Joseph McWhorter is the one driver that nobody else wants to see in their rearview mirror. He's on the march, he's on a mission, and right now he's only trailing by about 0.2 of a second to Tyler Justice. Ryzen Baker, though, working to the inside of Samuel Joseph. They go side by side, nearly went fender to fender. Watch the 65 of Samuel Joseph. Joseph here running just ahead is now, right now, Tyler Justice is battling it out. The 72 of Joseph McWhorter takes over the race lead away from Justice, and now Justice is angrier than a hornet.
Tyler Justice is going to try to make the outside lane work here on Whitley. He's going to get a little loose out of the corner there. Scary moment for both those cars, and we're wrecking a little further back. You saw that unfold, and that is Chuck Phelps around in the inside wall for our caution on lap 57, and he had some help. You get an instant replay here. He is working in front of, this is Mark Cofield, and this is Huling Kauser, and it's going to be Mark Cofield. Huge send-off into the corner, and he is just going to get himself up the racetrack into the rear bumper of Chuck Phelps out of that corner, and he sends the 75 around.
Yeah. Phelps is not going to be a happy camper when he sees that replay in all clarity.
No, I don't think he will be there, because just kind of got hooked down into the corner by Mark Cofield, who was trying already a bit of an aggressive dive down into there. And we are going to have no pit stops yet. We'll see if anyone comes down on this caution, as you're going to get one more look from the in-car there. 75 car just gets turned around. Nothing he could do. We're going to see a couple of those cars who stayed out come down, but not all. Charles Abert is into the pits. So is Mark Cofield. So is Kyle Deering. And Brandon Wallace and a couple other cars who are already at the back.
There goes the 99. Two wheels go up in the air. All of a sudden for him, now that's Brandon Wallace out of Odessa. A few drivers down pit road, nothing major. Brock Price, Brandon Wallace, Kyle Deering, Charles Abert, Chuck Feltz, of course, Timothy Wilmus, and Mark Cofield, as he's going to roll out here in the 97. Cofield, not a bad night overall, started dead last in 30th, now running in 26th. A couple of other drivers moving in the plus direction. Of course, Daniel Parks, our big mover of the night, in the 71. He's up 20 spots after qualifying in 26th.
And he's been doing it on a little bit of pit strategy here. One of those cars who stayed out, and he is really, really trying to make those tires work on that 71 car and keep himself up the field tonight. Ryzen Baker, he's just driven through the pack all on his own. He was part of that last gaggle to come down on lap 41. He's got 4 tires on it. I believe he is second out of cars with 4 tires on it. Third out of cars who pit on that lap, as Mark Whitley only took 2. And Ryzen Baker's made it work pretty well for him here as he tries to start his playoffs off on a high note.
Hey, I don't blame him. You know, you want to make a statement early, and you want to try to punch that ticket to the next round of the playoffs as early as you can. Take some of that pressure off of you. I mean, you know, of course, the win and you're in theory is always the easiest way to move along. But when you may not be the strongest driver in that sense, but consistency and track position are your strong point, you know, this is going to be the place where you should be able to do that, especially in the opening week of the playoffs.
We are going to go back green here, this time on lap 63. Couple cars with some EOLs. Looks like Mark Cofield, Joshua Unger to the back of the field, as Joseph McWhorter and Mark Whitley will lead him to green up at the front of the field. McWhorter is the control car. He has the inside line. We'll enter the restart zone as we hit the front straightaway. We're back green with a great jump from Joseph McWhorter down there on the bottom. Mark Whitley is going to try to climb back on the top, but he's going to get a little high. He has to back out. He'll look for a switchback, but McWhorter has it covered pretty well, and Mark Whitley stays second as we enter turn 3.
It's a salad bowl of nightmares behind them. Watch the 77. That's the double natural of Ryzen Baker, just ahead of the 61 and the 65 and the 71. The 71 of Daniel Parks now gets himself to the inside. He's trying to get up underneath Samuel Joseph, but Joseph having a handful of a time holding him off, while Julian Kauser bangs the door of the 71 one more time here on lap number 64. As we start to get into this last segment of this race here at IRP, these drivers who we've already seen running on short tempers tonight, this is going to get even harder for them to keep things in check as they now go 3 wide behind them.
Oh, contact back here with the 30 and the 9 of Barrett Morton. Morton's down on the apron, and he doesn't really have any space to move up. He'll find a hole there in front of that 46 car of Kaiser. Man, that was tight for those drivers back there. Nearly a big moment for Logan Threlkeld in the 30 car. So we see some drivers continuing to work their way up the road, almost 3 wide for a second there. We have the 43 car of Brock Price way up on that high side. Alan Smith also up there, dropping back through the field after staying out on old tires. It is some tight racing back here, and we're going to get some tight racing for the lead, also for third, because Ryzen Baker has just shoved a bumper to Tyler Justice. He's trying to move that 33 car out of the way. Whitley is still tucked up behind McWhorter for now, but he's trying to find a way around, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go side by side for the lead here before too many laps, as Ryzen Baker and Samuel Joseph, a little bit deeper through the field, are trying to find their way around Tyler Justice, who is doing an amazing job to hold Baker off on these old tires.
You know, I've been watching this battle for the lead the last several laps, and I mean, you know, I think all things considered, we're going to see some really crazy stuff here for these two. I mean, Wowee.
That was
This is
a
gonna get
nasty
ugly.
shot to that outside
Yeah,
wall there. For
this is going to
Reisenberger.
get
That is
ugly.
gonna really hurt the aero, really hurt the handling on that race car, and you can see he's already loose out of there just one turn after he hit the wall. He's got Samuel Joseph in the 65, one of these drivers who is on about, I would say, 10 lap older tires than Baker trying to get under him. As we're side by side for the lead, Mark Whitley with a slide job here down on the inside into turn 1. Can he make it stick? No, he's loose out of the corner. That hurts any run he might have gotten, and now McWhorter will have the advantage down into turn 3. Whitley tries to slide it back up, but McWhorter is running low, trying to stop Whitley from getting a good exit to the corner, and it works. He holds on here on lap 70. Joseph McWhorter continuing to lead laps, but Mark Whitley is giving him everything he can handle.
Whitley was running consistently faster. Consistently faster than McWhorter over the last 6 laps. Lap number 70 was the first time that he was any slower, and he was just about a tenth, almost 2/10 of a second slower than McWhorter over this last segment of laps. And here's the thing, you know, all season long we've been having McWhorter in one division and Whitley in the other, and now they get to see each other on the racetrack and just get, you know, the torches and pitchforks out. They're out here ready to hammer it at one another. This is what you folks tuned in for tonight, as Mark Whitley now trails Joseph McWhorter by just less than 3/10 of a second.
If you think back to the summer series we ran in these ARCA cars, this is the battle that we saw for the win of the race in the summer series, night in, night out. It was Mark Whitley versus Joseph McWhorter for all 6 weeks of that competition, and we're running it back right now. Only a second time these two have been in the same race here all season long, and they are going at it once again here in the Glove Station ARCA series.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is what this league is all about. I mean, you know, yes, although everybody at first kind of scratched their heads a little bit and said, I don't know how having the Eastern and Western conferences was going to work, and how, you know, the Pro and Am divisions within those conferences was going to work. But this is exactly what the admins were after all season long. They wanted to be able to build this up. They wanted to be able to make sure that everybody had a fair shot. And now the cream rises to the top, and two of the top drivers in either division, in either conference, has made it up here to lead this piece in the opening week for the playoffs, as they are all but three wide behind them. Reisenberger, Tyler Justice, and Samuel Joseph, they're running together. And I'm telling you right now, Joseph in the 65, he wants a piece of Tyler Justice.
He's got a pretty decent lead up there in the AM class, sitting about a second over Daniel Parks back there in the 71, 2.2 over Sedarius Days back there in the 45. So he would love for this thing to stay green so we can hold that big gap he has. Reisenberger, after about 10 laps of trying, will finally clear that 33 car and Tyler Justice. Baker had the older tires, but they kind of got cooked by the heat cycles on these cautions. And he also got into the wall quite a few times, which really hurt his momentum, and I think is going to really hurt the handling of that 77 car as we head down to the last 22 laps of this race.
Yeah, I mean, things are starting to cool off right now, and that's not really what I was expecting to see here. I didn't have that on my bingo card. I figured with 22 to go that these guys would be out here scraping each other's paint off of their teeth. But, you know, now we look to the inside. Check this out. The 65 now, doors the 33 on his way past. And now Samuel Joseph sets, the 33 is coming back. Now he's going to use the chrome horn. We're going to see these two wreck each other if they don't try to keep it straight here on the racetrack.
Well, we'll see if Samuel Joseph is able to pull it away there, because Tyler Justice maybe pushed a little too hard trying to hold off Reisenberger, and that 33 car seems to be really loose right now on these old tires. It's just not handling the way that he would want to, and he's starting to slip back to some more drivers in the pro class like Jake Ham. As we're racing a little further back in the field, this is the 9 of Barrett Morton up the inside of the 79 of Christian Angel. This is usually a battle that you would expect to see in the top 5 between these two cars, but both drivers have had problems. Both drivers have had accidents, and today this is the battle for 14th on the racetrack.
It's been a long night, all night. Check out this battle for 14th. As Sky was just watching, I mean, Sean Kaiser in the 46 is now running away from the two of them as Christian Angel, I swear, every time Christian's near a race car, period, he's battling it out with somebody. You know, there's never just oh yeah, I'm just out here logging laps. Christian Angel's always battling it out. I think it's great. I think it's excellent competition, and I think it keeps the race exciting not only for him but also around him.
And we're running out of laps here pretty quickly. Good green flag run here from IRP has taken us down to about 17 laps to go. Tight. And this is going to be a good finish here for the rest of this race, IRP.
Yeah, 17 laps to go. Your race leader is Joseph McWhorter. He's starting to gap Whitley by about 0.4 of a second. And you know, something that we notice all season long is that's the kind of thing that he'll save himself for. As now we see the 79, Christian Angel, starting to trot away from the 90 of Dave Calvert Sr. And right now it goes the 79, the 90, the 43, the 73. They're all in a row back here, giving each other plenty of space. Some of these drivers, though, you know, they're going to start to get impatient with now just 16 and a half laps left.
I mean, I think they've been impatient for pretty much this whole race with the type of racing that we've seen back here in the mid-pack. You've got the 36 of George Jewell on that high line. You've got Logan Threlkeld running a little bit in the middle. And you've got some cars racing behind him here, Huling Kauser as well. Threlkeld is down up the inside of that 36 of Jewell, but he doesn't have what it takes. The 36 on that high line just has the better run out of the corner. He's trying to find his way around Daniel Parks, who is on old tires, as he sits second in the AM class. But Threlkeld has given him a fit back here, and now it's going to be Logan Threlkeld diving it to the inside, getting a little loose there on the bottom, but doing a good job to hold on to that car. Daniel Parks, you can see how dialed in he is, as he has to deal with two pro drivers racing right behind him for position.
Working it out now, George Jewell here in the 36. First of all, Jewell hyper-focused. Check this camera. First of all, cool race room. But, you know, hyper-focused, not blinking. You know, George Jewell now drafting in just behind Daniel
Caution.
Parks. As caution comes out for the 8th time tonight. This could change everything for everybody.
I'm not initially sure who the cause of caution is. We're going to have to take a look at this and try to decipher that from when the moment of caution came out. It looks like it's going to be maybe Noah Hogard in the 158. We will see what happened. He's slow on the top lane. Is he just going to stop right here? Yes, he is. So Noah Hogard trying to exit the session, did not make it back around to the pits, and is going to bring out a caution here inside of 12 laps to go, and that is going to make this a mad dash to the finish for pretty much everybody here. It's going to be all out to the end, and you're going to see pit stops here, I think, from everybody. Well, maybe not, because we got Ryzen Baker staying out up front.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a good call by Ryzen Baker, who decides he hasn't been in since lap number 40. Stays out now here in third position. He's going to take over the race lead. I think that this might be the maybe a boneheaded call for tonight.
He's going to rely on some cautions coming out before these drivers can get past him, and he'll have a little bit of help up here as well, as we have, looks like 4 cars who are going to stay out. Actually, yeah, 4 cars who are going to stay out. Ryzen Baker, Barrett Morton, Brandon Wallace, and Timothy Wilms are the 4 who have stayed out, and I believe it's going to be 2 tire calls here for everyone who did come down, including McWhorter and Whitley. Right sides only on those cars. First car on 4 is Daniel Parks. He's sitting all the way back in 12th.
You're watching the opening week of the Season 4 playoffs in the Glove Station ARCA Series right here on V-Speed. Want to thank everybody for tuning in and hanging out with us tonight. We've been strapped in now for the last, 92 laps. We've got 9 to go. This is one of those times where, you know, everybody's going to have to, you've made your bed. You've made your bed. Ryzen Baker and Barrett Morton, they each came in on lap number 40. They think they're going to be fine. Brandon Wallace in the 99, again, thinks he's going to be fine, as well as Timothy Wilms. but Joseph McWhorter and Mark Whitley, our two strongest driver, is just, I mean, if I was the top 3 or 4 drivers right now, I'd be terrified. McWhorter and Whitley with fresh tires and a belly full of fire, it's going to get crazy.
This is going to be a fun one. We'll go back green with just 7 laps to go around IRP as the lights on the pace car are off. And it is going to be all out to see who can bring it to the finish. You've got your 2 cars on 2 fresh tires who have been up front battling for the lead all race in Joseph McWhorter and Mark Whitley. They sit 5th and 6th right now because we have 4 cars who have stayed out. 52 lap old tires for Baker and Morton. 33 lap old tires for Brandon Wallace and Timothy Wilms back here in row 3. 3 different strategies. Which one is going to play out and which one is going to go to victory lane? Pace car is in. It's Ryzen Baker. It's Barrett Morton, and it's a great jump from Baker. We're back green at IRP. 7 to go.
The 77 of Ryzen Baker went right for the high side. He wants to be able to use as much of this racetrack as possible. But just behind, this is a gaggle of up, and the caution comes out now for the 9th time tonight.
And that is Mark Cofield into the wall down here hard in turn 2. He also got a little bit of help in that 97 car. We'll get a replay on this shortly. It's contact from behind with the 00 of Alan Smith going off into turn 2. Mark Cofield running a little bit high, and yeah, Alan Smith, let's see it, a little bit up the road. Gets into that 97 car, spins him around, and that is your cause of caution here tonight. I'll tell you what, that is absolutely fantastic for Ryzen Baker and those cars who stayed out, because that is even less laps that they have to defend their lead now. I think we're going to go back green with 2 to go. Not sure if it'll be a natural overtime or if it'll be one of our green-white checkered finishes tonight. But either way, only 2 laps Baker has to hold on, and that is not going to be great for McWhorter and Whitley, who are going to have to drive like crazy. And Ryzen Baker's just been given an EOL penalty. Well, I'm going to have to figure out the cause of that. Maybe a jump start. We will ask race control, and we will see what the cause of that was.
While you find that out, I was gonna see if we could maybe take a look at, just before going green this time around, that the 86 was actually getting whacked from behind by Whitley in the 74. It was actually getting a little rude, but the 74 wanted to get moving, and the 86 just said no, they didn't wave the green flag yet. And Whitley was really starting to abuse that rear bumper of Timothy Wilmus. And now as we work here with 5 laps to go, waiting to see if the iRacing.com pace car lights will turn out this time around. Not quite yet. So, yeah, I think this is going to be, the natural green-white checker. So they may have another attempt at that as well.
I mean, I'm not sure what that was for. I can tell you I went back and looked at the start. It was absolutely not a jump start for Ryzen Baker. He went in the restart zone. So we are yet to get an answer from race control. We'll have to figure out how Ryzen Baker got that penalty, why he's going to go from the back of the field here on this restart. But that is going to really shake up this race, because he looked set to win this race. He played strategy so well, had it up front, and now it's going to all go away from him. He's going to be back to the rear of the field in that 77 car. And we'll only have 3 drivers in between Joseph McWhorter on that 2-tire strategy in the lead of this race. As the lights on the pace car pull off, Barrett Morton, and it's Brandon Wallace on the front row, and then you've got Timothy Wilms on the inside behind him.
Going to be a great restart here as the iRacing.com pace car lights are off. That means we'll be going green one more time. It'll be 2 laps to go. As we take a look here, the iRacing.com pace car gets on out of the way. Barrett Morton with control of the field. The 99 of Brandon Wallace in tow. They come out of turn number 3, roll it into 4. The iRacing.com pace car is now safely out of the way. Barrett Morton hits the restart zone, and we're back in the way. Oh, and it is the accordion effect.
There goes Timothy Wilms sideways. Whitley
God.
involved. George Jewell wrecking. Oh, and here goes everybody. We got cars in the air. That is about half the field, and we have a car flipped over in turn 2. That is Mark Cofield, who just did a barrel roll. Oh, my goodness.
I have never seen such a hideous and scary looking restart. The 50 can't get going straight again. The 50 right here in the middle of your screen.
Lord. I mean,
What
they're
is
already
this
4 wide.
disaster?
They're wrecking up front. You've got George Jewell.
They
Everyone's
thought that
so
it was,
tight. Oh, my goodness.
oh, then that's the 97 of Cofield. You know, they must have thought that this was a polka show because they all of a sudden were playing the accordion with all of those cars all at once just bunching up.
Oh, my. I mean, it was just not a good start for Brandon Wallace. And I don't know how he was supposed to get a good start because Mark Whitley was absolutely trying to wreck Timothy Wilms before we ever even went green there. Yeah, I mean, Mark Whitley was just shoving Wilms. Wilms got shoved into Wallace. That got Wallace loose, so none of those cars were able to actually accelerate because Wallace was loose in the restart zone because of how hard Mark Whitley was beating on his bumper. And then Wilms just got trapped in the middle of Whitley and Joseph and sent those cars around. I think Mark Whitley was just kind of the start of all that.
Well, it's going to be an interesting restart now. Of course, this does trigger the green-white checker as, let's see what we've got going on. Oh, never mind. They are just getting back in the line. So just so everybody's aware of what the rules to the green-white checker is, or NASCAR overtime as we know it, when the green flag flies, we will race around and we will go from green flag to white flag. If the caution should come out before the white flag flies, we will rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. However, when we come around and get the white flag, the next flag will end the race, whether that flag is yellow, checkered, or polka spotted. So this is for all the marbles, especially as it's the opening week in the Season 4 playoffs right here in the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series.
We got an update on that Ryzen Baker EOL. It was a lane change violation for the 77 car. He was clear of Barrett Morton, but he pulled up to the top before the start-finish line to get clear of him, and that is going to be the cause of the EOL for Ryzen Baker that's taken him out of contention tonight, although maybe it's better he was at the back so he wasn't caught up in that massive crash down there in turn 1. This is going to shake everything up here because you got several cars who are right up front who are going to be no longer right up front, including some of the drivers who are trying to win this race. The only driver on that old tire strategy, now that the pace car has pulled in, is the 9 of Barrett Morton. He's all alone, and he's got to fend off Joseph McWhorter, Logan Threlkeld, Mark Whitley, Samuel Joseph, and Tyler Justice back here, and we will see if Morton's able to do it. He gets the jump. We're back green here at IRP, and it's Barrett Morton back up to the outside. What can he do? We're almost wrecking at the back already. Does Daniel Parks save it? Yes, he does. Side by side, never mind. Caution flies for a different accident. Alan Smith and Charles Abert are wrecked in turn 2. And this is going to start with Claire Sisk.
Yeah, this isn't going to be good at all.
I think Claire Sisk was deep. They were wrecking in front of Claire Sisk. Daniel Parks got loose. Days checked up. Claire Sisk checked up and just got loose while checking up and then came down into Chuck Feltz. Abert made contact with a couple cars just trying to dodge the accident, and you see Alan Smith just get caught in the middle there. Big hit for the 00.
Yeah, that's disappointing for Claire. I know that she didn't mean to do that. You know, dumb things happen, bad things happen, especially, you know, at critical times in a race like this. But, you know, I can say without a doubt, Claire doesn't mean to get into other people like that. I was looking at this lane change violation situation, and got to be honest, wow.
It's not the most obvious lane change violation of all time, is what I will say, but you can kind of see it.
Yeah. No, I checked. I mean, I see it, but it's a tough one. I mean, sometimes I think race control is the most thankless job on the face of the earth, because if you make a decision as race control and it works out for one driver, it also means that another driver just gets smacked upside the head with a baseball bat.
Yeah, it's going to be bad news for Ryzen Baker. I mean, he did, if there's a silver lining to that, not get involved in that big accident down there in turn 1, so he will come out 15th after all of this chaos, which is maybe higher than he would have been if he had stayed out and gotten piled up in that crash there where Mark Whitley was just trying to shove some people to the front. We will see how this all shakes out As we get ready to go back green, the lights on the pace car will stay on, so we will do one more lap under the yellow with McWhorter, Threlkeld, Tyler Justice, and Mark Whitley all trying to find a way around Barrett Morton, who, might I add, is on 66 lap old tires, but has also gone 29th to 1st tonight.
Well, you know what? There's a couple of situations where at least I say it's must watch. I mean, this is a race where we've now got Barrett Morton, Joseph McWhorter, Logan Threlkeld, and Mark Whitley. And I'm not trying to discount Tyler Justice, but you know, the Morton McWhorter Threlkeld Whitley combo, to me, that's what puts butts into the seats for.
Yeah, these drivers are drivers who we know are going to be going at it all playoffs long here in this new combined format. So this is your first test of really what's going to happen here up in front of the field. Will Barrett Morton on 66 lap old tires find his way to victory lane tonight? Or will it be Joseph McWhorter, the driver who I believe has led the most laps? You've got Tyler Justice, you've got Logan Threlkeld back there in row 2. Neither of these drivers are ones we've really seen up here. We saw Justice on pit strategy. Threlkeld's trying to get it done. We're in the restart zone. We're back green for Barrett Morton with a great jump on the outside and a great push from the 33 of Tyler Justice. Joseph McWhorter is back down to the apron, and they'll head out of the corner side by side. Barrett Morton gets the run on the top, and McWhorter has the better tires, and that's going to allow him to take a much bigger bite out of this corner. He's a little loose down there, but he's got the run. Door to door out of turn 4. Morton has it at the white flag, but we've got one more lap to go. Joseph McWhorter on the bottom, Barrett Morton on the top. We're wrecking behind him. Mark Whitley's around, but Joseph McWhorter is clear for the win of the race. Battle for second is going to be Morton on Justice. I think Justice is going to have enough up front. Joseph McWhorter wins the first race of the playoffs at IRP.
What an impressive finish to this one as Tyler Justice and Barrett Morton come
Samuel
across
Joseph
the
wins
road.
the AM race.
Samuel Joseph picks up the AM win tonight by finishing 4th, missing the podium by just that much. I mean, you know what? That's a quarter of a second difference between, 4th with the AM win and getting the natural podium for Joseph. Good for him tonight.
Samuel Joseph is going to grab your first AM win of the playoffs. P4 tonight. Great finish for an AM driver who mixed it up with the front runners all race long. Barrett Morton fell back to 3rd. Tyler Justice P2, but your race winner tonight in the pro class and overall is the 72 of Joseph McWhorter. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get interviews with your top 3 drivers and a look through at your finishing results. Stay tuned.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Welcome back to the Glove Station ARCA Series race at IRP. You see our two winners there, Joseph McWhorter in the pro class and Samuel Yosef in the AM class. And we're going to take a look first at our pro finishing results. Joseph McWhorter, your winner tonight. Tyler Justice second, Barrett Morton third, Logan Threlkeld fourth, Christian Angel fifth, Julian Kauser sixth, Sean Kaiser seventh, Jake Ham eighth, Timothy Williams ninth, Ryzen Baker recovers to finish P10 after that late EOL penalty. And then it's George Jewell, Brandon Wallace, Mark Whitley with that late spin, Jeremiah Holt, and Jake Ellingson at the back of the field.
As we take a quick look over here at the AM side, Samuel Yosef brings home the AM win we just talked about. Sedarius Days comes home in second. Daniel Parks in third with Brock Price in fourth. Claire Sisk rounds out your top five, while Kevin Price finishes in sixth. Kyle Deering in seventh. Chuck Pegleg Feltz in eighth. Jamie Lipke in ninth. And Chuck Abert back in 10th. We go on to 11th, and that's Dave Calvert Sr., then Mark Cofield, Alan Smith, Noah Hoagie Hogard, and Josh Unger making up the 15 drivers on the AM side tonight.
We are going to pull into the booth here your race winners. First, we'll go with the pro race winner, Joseph McWhorter. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
First race here of the combined playoffs, and you grabbed the win. How's it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. That was a lot more stressful than I wanted it to be. I was really hoping we'd finish off those last few laps and just finish under green. I thought it was shaping up to be a good fight. I thought Mark was starting to come back to me. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I would have been able to hold him off. I think he backed off to save a little bit, and I seen the time between us kind of shrink a little bit over those last 5 laps for the caution. So would have been interesting. I couldn't. I took two tires, took two right side tires, and fresh tires were kind of sketchy on power, and I kept trying to clear Barrett on those last restarts, but every single time I would just spin the tires coming off the corner, and he would clear me, and I kind of thought it was over. I didn't really think one, I didn't think we were going to finish on a green, and two, I didn't think I was going to be able to get the power down. But for some reason, that last restart, I was able to get the power down. So either it was just the heat cycles for the restarts, or whatever, finally just worked itself into where I could actually get the power down and get side by side with him. Um, but yeah, I think that locks us into the next round, right?
I believe it does.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. We're going to Atlanta next week. We can just go race for a trophy next week, and then keep focus on the rest of the schedule. We got Kansas and Milwaukee in round two, both tracks that I've won at before. So I think as long as we kind of keep this going, I think we have a really good shot at bringing home another trophy.
How fun is it having to race with both the drivers you've raced with all season in the West Division, but then also adding all the ARCA East guys like Mark Whitley in there as well?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, a lot of us race during the summer series in the ARCA car, so I'm kind of used to a lot of the guys in here. There was a few names that I didn't recognize in the mid pack, but for a lot of the guys up front, it was guys that I've raced with before. So, and a lot of guys that we race with on Sunday nights as well. So, a lot of familiarity. It wasn't as daunting as it may seem with having both of them combined. I think a lot of drivers have experience with one another in other series, so I think it put on a pretty decent race. There was some cautions, but I think that was just some of the first round jitters and people getting excited. I think next week I think we'll see probably the same thing what we saw in the season finale. I think we're gonna have a long green flag run, and maybe it comes down to another fuel mileage race like it did at the end of the summer series.
We'll see. Who do you have to thank tonight?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank Outlier Speedco. Go check them out in the description below. They're not only a partner of me, but you guys over at V Speeds. So go check them out at outlierspeedco.com or in the description below. Um, Red Camel Racing, anything that you need for a race weekend, fire shoes, helmets, gloves, you name it, they got it. RedCamelRacing.com. You guys for putting on the broadcast. All the guys for a good race, the admins for the hard work, and ready to get into the next week.
All right, congrats on the pro win tonight, Joseph McWhorter.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. See you guys next week.
And we are going to throw it over to Dave, who is standing by with your second place finisher, or your AM winner, Samuel Joseph.
Hey guys, what's going
Happy and
on?
safe up here in the booth. Good, good. Listen, man, I mean, here you are picking up your AM win for the season. I mean, you've got yourself in a great position now to move on. That's got to feel pretty good to start the playoffs like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a weird first season and being in iRacing, brand new and such. I got the win at Texas, and then I felt like everything after that was, I'll be up there in the front or, mid pack competing, and then a wreck or something happened. So wasn't really confident walking into it. However, working with Jamie a lot, the guys, girls and guys at SRP, and just all the practice I could do, it just worked out tonight.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like, and as athletes and as competitors, when we know that we have a weak spot, that's what we try to suddenly really practice hard on. Like the drivers that say this track isn't my strongest track, but all of a sudden they're picking up the checkered flag. That's a lot about what you did tonight. You knew that this was something you had to be hyper focused on, and you succeeded.
Yeah, definitely. Short track racing. I mean, living in Virginia, Richmond is my track. So short track racing is my favorite thing to watch. And so I knew I needed to get the win tonight so I could have an easy Atlanta. Old Atlanta is a beast in its own. And it's great to get that monkey off my shoulder.
Without a doubt. Well, listen, man, congratulations again on the AM win tonight. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who helped you get it done tonight?
Yeah, all the girls and guys at SRP, Glove Station, Lincoln Tech, Cruising Save 22, Invets, all those guys. Just shout out to all the Marines for the 250th, and happy Veterans Day to our veterans in this league.
All right, my friend, listen, congrats one more time, and we will see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
Well, Sky, the first week of the playoffs is in the books for season 4.
That will conclude our first race of the playoffs, and it was a pretty good one tonight. Next week, we are looking ahead to the second race of the round of 16 at Old Atlanta. Dave, what are you thinking about that one?
I mean, first of all, I love Old Atlanta. I love those transitions between the straightaways and the turns. I love that big old dip that you get when you go into turn 1. The whole rear end of the car wants to lift up. I love me some Old Atlanta.
It is going to be a fun one, and those drivers are going to have to race it even harder than they did tonight at IRP. For everyone at Goat Locker Racing and at V-Speed, make sure you like and subscribe to catch the rest of the season right here. Same time, same place every week on V-Speed. For myself, Dave, and Eddie in the booth, and for everyone at Goat Locker and V-Speed, have a great night.